The cold November wind cut through the streets of Charleston, South Carolina, as Veronica Mitchell gripped the small hand of her 7-year-old daughter, Harper. The night was heavy with fog, the kind that muffled the usual city hum and made the streetlights seem dim and distant. Veronica's heart pounded with a mixture of anxiety and hope. She had spent the better part of the week preparing for this moment, this blind date her sister had insisted she try, urging her that she deserved a chance at happiness. But Veronica didn't know that this night would change her life in ways she could never imagine. Before we dive deeper, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the unexpected magic life can bring, please like this video, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us share more inspiring stories like this. Veronica had been a single mother for nearly 8 years. After losing her husband in a tragic car accident just months after Harper was born, life had felt like a relentless uphill climb. She had worked multiple jobs, often leaving Harper in the care of neighbors or at the small local daycare, struggling to make ends meet. Yet, despite the hardships, Veronica never let her daughter see the despair that sometimes gnawed at her soul. Harper was her light, her reason to keep going, and she loved her more fiercely than she had ever imagined loving anyone. This blind date, however, wasn't about finding love for herself alone. It was about stepping into a world she had avoided for years, a world where she might allow herself to hope again. As she walked into the warm, softly lit restaurant, the aroma of roasted herbs and sizzling steaks enveloped her. She adjusted Harper's little coat and smiled, trying to hide her nerves. Veronica's eyes scanned the room, and then she froze. At a table near the window, a man was seated, tall, impeccably dressed in a navy suit, with hair just beginning to show streaks of silver. There was something familiar in the way he held himself, a quiet confidence paired with a gentleness that made her chest tighten. This was the man she had agreed to meet, not knowing that he was far more connected to her life than she could ever imagine. Harper, sensing the tension, tugged on her mother's sleeve. "Mommy, are you going to be okay?" she whispered, her small voice full of concern. Veronica knelt down and hugged her tightly, whispering, "Everything's going to be fine, baby. I promise." The date began awkwardly, with polite smiles and tentative conversation, but as the evening progressed, Veronica felt a warmth she hadn't experienced in years. She laughed, really laughed, feeling as if the weight of the past decade had momentarily lifted. Across the table, the man, whose name was Jonathan Pierce, listened with genuine interest, his eyes never leaving hers. What Veronica didn't know was that Jonathan was no ordinary man. He was a CEO of a prominent tech company, someone known for his philanthropy and private sponsorship programs for children in need. And unbeknownst to her, Harper had been under his sponsorship since the age of 5. He had quietly ensured Harper had access to educational opportunities, art classes, and mentorship, all without revealing his identity to her mother. He had watched her grow from afar, never interfering, always hoping the day might come when their paths would cross naturally. As the meal continued, Harper fidgeted in her chair, her curiosity getting the better of her. "Mommy, can I get some ice cream?" she asked. Veronica nodded, and when the server returned with a small bowl, Harper's eyes fell on Jonathan. "Wait, aren't you Mr. Pierce?" she asked, her voice a mixture of awe and hesitation. Veronica looked at her daughter, puzzled, while Jonathan's eyes widened slightly. Harper continued, "You're the man who sends me the art kits and books every month. You're my sponsor." The room seemed to shrink as the truth slowly dawned on Veronica. Her hand trembled slightly as she placed it on Harper's shoulder. "Jonathan, you've been helping her?" she asked, her voice catching. Jonathan nodded, a small, genuine smile forming on his face. "I've wanted to meet her for a long time, but I wanted it to happen naturally," he admitted. "I never imagined it would be tonight, and I certainly didn't expect to meet you like this." Veronica felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. Relief, gratitude, and a strange, tender hope washed over her all at once. The man who had quietly shaped a part of Harper's childhood was sitting across the table, smiling gently at both of them. It was surreal, almost cinematic, like a scene from a storybook she had never dared to dream she'd live. For the first time in years, Veronica allowed herself to breathe without the constant tension of worry. She realized that life had its way of weaving miracles in the most unexpected ways. She thought about the countless nights she had spent fretting over bills, schooling, and Harper's happiness. And here was Jonathan, someone who had cared from the shadows, embodying a quiet, unwavering kindness that words could hardly capture. As dessert was served, Veronica watched Harper chatter excitedly about her new art project, her tiny hands animatedly describing the colors and shapes. Jonathan listened attentively, leaning forward, encouraging her creativity with a soft laugh and gentle praise. In that moment, Veronica felt a shift inside her heart. The world that had seemed so heavy and unkind was showing her that goodness still existed, sometimes hidden, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. The night ended with Jonathan walking them to the car. Outside, the cold had intensified, but there was a warmth in Veronica's chest she hadn't felt in years. Jonathan handed Harper a small sketchbook, something he had brought from his office. "For your art," he said softly, kneeling to her level. Harper hugged it tightly, her eyes sparkling with gratitude. Veronica felt a lump in her throat as she realized that trust and kindness could manifest in the most unexpected forms. As they drove home, Veronica's mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. Could she allow herself to hope again? Could she imagine a future where Harper's life continued to be touched by such genuine kindness, and perhaps, somewhere along the way, where her own heart could heal too? She glanced at Harper, asleep in the back seat, clutching her sketchbook, and whispered a prayer of thanks. In the weeks that followed, Veronica and Jonathan's lives began to intertwine in ways neither had anticipated. Lunches turned into dinners, short walks turned into weekend outings, and slowly, Veronica allowed herself to accept the possibility of love again. It wasn't rushed, and it wasn't forced, it was a gentle, organic blending of lives that had been shaped by loss, resilience, and the quiet beauty of chance encounters. Through it all, Harper remained the heart of their story, the living embodiment of hope and renewal. Veronica realized that life's most profound gifts often arrived disguised as ordinary moments, and sometimes, they were tied to people we never expected, people who had silently believed in us all along. Months later, as they sat together one chilly Sunday morning, Harper drawing in her sketchbook while Veronica sipped her coffee and Jonathan reviewed some paperwork, Veronica felt a deep sense of peace. She had faced fear, uncertainty, and the weight of a world that often seemed cruel. Yet through it all, kindness had found a way in, guiding them toward a future filled with hope, love, and unexpected miracles. If this story touched your heart and reminded you of the power of hope and unexpected kindness, please take a moment to like, share, and comment. Let us know what part of Veronica and Harper's journey resonated with you the most. Before we end, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share a moment in your life where someone's quiet kindness changed everything for you. Sometimes, the smallest gestures have the biggest impact. Veronica had learned that even in the darkest moments, life could surprise you. The single mother who had once carried the weight of the world on her shoulders was now walking toward a future bright with love, hope, and the promise of second chances. She had found not just a partner in Jonathan, but an ally in life, and most importantly, a renewed sense of faith in the goodness that could exist in the world. The blind date that began with uncertainty had turned into a life-altering encounter, a poignant reminder that miracles often come when we least expect them. And as Veronica looked at Harper, laughing and sharing stories with Jonathan, she knew in her heart that love, both given and received, was the true magic that made life worth living.